and welcome to the Monster Energy MX Nationals Pre-Moto show here on motoonline.com.au. Today we have series commentator Cam Williams, plus Fox and Oakley's Mick Sinclair. Welcome to the panel, guys.
Thanks, mate.
This year, 10 rounds, 3 classes being the MX1, MX2 and the MXD class, which was formerly the under-19s. Big support from Monster Energy coming into this series. Sunday is going to be the opening round at Conondale. What's your guys' thoughts on the track so far? It seems to be setting up to be a brilliant weekend.
Yeah, mate, I'm really excited. We're finally here. It's been a long time since the last round of Supercross. It's been a lot of talk about it. Let's stop talking about it and get it all going. It's great to have Monster on board. They're a fantastic sponsor, and they're just going to help lift the level of this series. So it's fantastic to have them on board, and I just can't wait to get it going.
Cam, you're a vital part of this series, one of the key men, I guess we could say, being up there in the commentary box. For you, Conondale, the track, everybody's ready to go. It's Saturday afternoon now. How's it feeling for you?
It's fantastic. I love coming to tracks like this because this is a pure motocross track. This is an old school uphill, downdale motocross track. I mean, this venue used to be a country racetrack, so it's a great venue, and the spectators can see a lot from one spot, and it's good. There's a lot of hills. It ruts up. It gets rough. It gets nasty. It's got a long start straight. I'm just excited to get started, let's go racing.
I guess the big thing we've been talking up in the media, especially on Moto Online so far, is the international versus Australian guys. Jay Marmont is coming in going for championship number 5, but he's on a Monster Energy Kawasaki this year. 4 championships with Yamaha are done. He's now in green. Do you think he can stand up and really battle for this championship again?
Of course, you can never count Jay out. He's one of the toughest guys out there. There is talk that he has got a little knee injury. I don't know how severe it is. It doesn't sound too bad, but you got to remember Jay finished 9th at round 1 last year and come through and won the championship with in the last moto. So you can never count him out. If he can get through this round, without making his knee any worse, he'll be fine, and he's always going to be a threat to win that title.
Now, Jay Marmont, he's no doubt the leading guy from Australia. We've got guys like Lawson Bopping, who took his seat at Yamaha. Todd Waters is now at Modal Pirelli Suzuki. Jake Moss, Ty Simmons, even Dan Reardon, a former champion. The Aussie contingent's pretty strong. So, where do you rate those guys? Can they come up and keep this title on home soil?
I think at the moment it's pretty hard. Obviously, Bantalli only going to be here for 1 round. Brad Addison's going to be very fast. Those guys are race-winning contenders right now. As far as building a championship and doing it over 10 rounds, it's really hard to look past Jay Marmont right now because he has so much experience in doing that. Someone like Jake Moss as well, I think. Jake is probably being a little bit inconsistent, but I'm calling it the Dean Ferris effect. He's now pretty much a full privateer. He's got some good support from Honda and his mining contracting company. But I think keep your eye on Jake because he's done it in the US. He understands a full season, and he's under the radar. He hasn't had much of a mention, and I had a quick chat to him in the pits, and he's very comfortable. He knows he doesn't have to win every race to win this one. So I'm not going to put anything out there just yet, man.
Simmons and Moss, those guys, they're on their own teams now. They've come from factory efforts, but to me, I've spoken to both this weekend already. They seem proud about what they've produced in their bikes in a short amount of time. I know you've been involved, with Ty, especially on that front. Can these guys basically come out? They've got the eye of the tiger. Can they form an upset come Sunday?
Of course, they've got something to prove. They need to do it for their sponsors. They've got a lot of people behind them. There's a little bit of talk that Ty wasn't riding that fast at Coonabarabran a couple of weeks ago. I don't believe that. He looks fit, he's healthy, and I think he can always win.
What about Lawson Bopping? I know you work closely with him, obviously at the CDR in that effort. Josh Coppins and Jay Marmont both have said previously that they've had some trouble setting up that CDR Yamaha, but once you get it right, it seems to work really well for those guys here in Australia anyway. How's he finding that transition to the blue bike?
Bobbings, he's adapted really well to the team. The guys from CDR and Bobo work really well together. He's riding it really fast. He's going to win some races this year. He could even win a round. But yeah, he's going to be quick. Those guys have got to watch out for him. He's been flying under the radar. I don't think the guys are going to expect too much out of him, but they're going to have to watch him.
Let's speak about the New Zealanders. Ben Townley, supposed to be only here for 1 round now. He's going off to 2-2 Motorsports in the USA. Not only him, Josh Coppins just fell short of the championship last year. Also, Cody Cooper. These guys from New Zealand, they've just come off their own domestic championship. Are they coming in here with the ball rolling?
Absolutely, of course they are. Yeah, Ben Townley's he's won his first New Zealand Championship, and anytime you've got racing at that quality and that level, you're always going to be better off. I see, our Aussie guys though. They are last weekend. I think they did the Victorian State title, so they've got some good racing. Todd Waters, my apologies. Jake Moss. Those guys did a couple of rounds of a Sunny State, so they've all got racing, and I would put the Victorian titles and the Sunny States at about the same level as New Zealand anyway. So I don't think it's going to be a huge advantage for those guys at this point in time. I think Cody Cooper's another one's a little bit under the radar as well. Like, he's only just kept his ride by the skin of his teeth. So look for some of that form that we saw Cody Cooper show before he went off to the US.
How about Billy McKenzie and Brad Anderson? Brad's the defending dual British champion. Billy's won over there previously before. He's basically a regular to Australia now. Billy's got rid of the 2-1-1. He switched to number 18, trying to freshen things up for this year. He's been under the radar in my eyes. Can he come out and really... do you think Brad Anderson's arrival will make Billy McKenzie step up and up his game that little bit more?
I think so. To be honest, I haven't heard too much about Billy in the off-season. I don't know what he's been up to. I'm not sure what to expect from him. The last couple of years, he's been fast. I think he dropped off a little bit towards the end of last year, but I know he'll come out there. He can win some races. I think Brad's going to be the one to watch. He's very fast. He's very aggressive. He's not scared of getting out there and having a bang. So I think he's going to upset a lot of people, but he's going to make the series very exciting, and it's going to be awesome. Like, it's going to create a lot of interest for those two guys.
We definitely can't forget Brad's one-off appearance at Raymond Terrace in 2010. Won the round, clean sweep, completely dominated. Didn't look so pretty doing it. It was typical Euro style. We sort of found that a bit strange here that time around. I spoke to him after the season launch in Melbourne, and he said to him, he's got pressure on him. He's come here last time, been so strong. He feels a bit of pressure of that, so that will be interesting to see how he withstands that. These motos this year, 2 back-to-back motos in the morning, 15-minute back-to-back basically, finishing off the rounds with what's supposed to be near a traditional 30-minute moto. Is that going to suit the Aussies or suit the overseas guys?
I think the guys who raced here last year will definitely benefit from that. So Josh Coppins, Billy McKenzie, obviously our Aussie guys will benefit from that. For me personally, I think it's the best of both worlds. We get those 2 sprints, we see those guys on the go, flat out, and then we get the traditional format. And in real terms, whether you like the formats or not, the series went down to the last moto last year. So when you talk about all the racing we went through, that format worked. So we've got the best of both worlds, the traditional and the new school, and I think it's going to make from some amazing racing, great racing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, to me, I've spoken a lot with Kevin, during the pre-season. Some of the riders, they want traditional 30-30. They feel like that's what they need if they're going to go on to be international world champions or AMA contenders. But to me, here in Australia, this 15-15 and then a 30, that seems like it's a pretty good, balance between it all.
I think it is a good balance, and I agree with Cam too. I think the guys that raced here last year, who are kind of used to the format, it's going to benefit them. I took Brad Anderson down to the pod office on Tuesday, and obviously he's not that familiar with the format, and he had no idea he'd need to take spare helmet liners, spare jerseys, and that for the back-to-backs. I filled it in. I was just out of a conversation. I brought it up with him. He goes, "Yeah, I didn't even really think about that." So it's that just proves that it's going to benefit the guys who raced out here last year. They're going to have a much more advantage in that regards.
How about in this pits? We've seen obviously the big factory teams. It's been absolutely incredible to lead up to this. We had 9 News out here from Brisbane doing the weather live last night. We had lights up around the track. Channel 7, Sunshine Coast, Win on the Sunshine Coast. They've done quite a bit. Semis are all around the place. The pits are just absolutely buzzing. What about these smaller privateer teams, like your Wilson's teams, your Team 07, they're brand new, they're rebranded. Also, Axis is now separated, got Kawasaki support, choice suspension in the KTM, like Mick said. It's pretty impressive, the size of this, what we're seeing.
Yeah, and you add someone like Full Force to that. Those guys weren't even in the pits last year. I mean, their riders were, but it just goes to show the health of the series and the health of the sport in the country right now, I'd say we could pretty much say we're the second best country in the world after the US in motocross terms. And like you say, we can't go to some tracks, unfortunately, because we're a victim of our own success. And it's a great position to be, like obviously anyone in Australian motorsport strives to be at the V8 supercars level, and the National Motocross Series is definitely on its way.
Let's speak about the form guide of these guys. Injuries coming in with we've mentioned Jay Marmont, possibly tweaked knee. I've spoken to him quite a bit. At first, 2 weeks ago when it happened during a poster shoot up, I think it was in Toowoomba somewhere in Queensland with the team, he basically tweaked his knee while he was doing those poster shoots on the back of a berm from what I hear. So I've spoken to him since then and he's been on the bike in this past week. He's not 100%, but looking at him yesterday, he was out there in press day to prove a point. It seems like he's really determined to make this stuff happen. So, form guide coming in, who have you heard strong, who have you heard isn't going so good, and who might be under that injury cloud that we're not hearing about so far?
I haven't heard of too many injuries other than Jay in the Pro Open class. I think there's going to be 5 guys that can win the championship. You're going to have Jay, you're going to have Josh, you're going to have Brad. Make it 4 because Townley's he's gone, and we've got Billy. So any of those 5 guys can win. We don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow who's done the hard work and who's going to ride fast. And time will tell.
Now, much of this we've spoken about, obviously the MX1 guys, the 450s, the Premier class. There's just so much to speak about, and we've only got a short period of time that we can really round it up. But yeah, we really look forward to the MX2 and the under-19s guys tomorrow. They're going to be great championships as well. So, going to put the pressure on, boys. Who's your pick for each championship? Just quickly, wrap it up.
I am going to go with my boy Toddy Waters in the Opens. I believe in Aussie can win it and can stick it to these guys. I'm going to stick with Ford Dale on the lights. I think Ford's had the red plate a bunch of times. He knows how to win a championship, and something just appears to have clicked with Ford. He's worked out that he needs to slow down just a little bit to go a bit faster, and I think it's pretty hard to go past Jay Wilson in the D category this year. He won some motos last year. The kid's fast. He's back off an injury. May not be great tomorrow, but mid-season, I think Jay Wilson's the pick for Moto D.
Mick, who are your guys? I know you don't like to say straight up who you think's going to win, but 3 classes, who's going to get it done?
Look, I think it's going to come down between Jay, Josh and Brad. Brad, I think, will be the fastest, but whether he can get through every round, everyone knows how aggressive he is. Jay will also probably be second quickest, and I think Josh will be third quickest, but Jay and Josh are going to be there every round, every race. I'm not going to call it who's going to win. It's going to be
Come on.
Josh, mate, or Jay. All right, either one of those two are going to get it done. In the lights, Boydie, I think first year back, he's gone back to pro lights. I think he's going to get the job done. He's riding super fast. He really needs to win this one. This is it for him if he doesn't, I think. And in the MXD class, I think Dylan Long. Victoria's last weekend, he had the second quickest lap time. He's the second quickest rider on the day behind Brad Anderson. So he's going to surprise somebody. He's not that quick. His starts are his weak point, but if he can work on his starts and get some good ones, he'll win the races.
Okay, well, my picks, Jay Marmont, I think he'll get the number 5. In green, he looks good on that Kawasaki already. Kurt Gibbs in the whites, I would say he's got a little bit of an injury, under that cloud himself, but I think he's been twice runner-up the last 2 years and been really good, so strong. I think he can get it done this year for Serco Yamaha. In the under-19s, I think basically Jay Wilson, I think he can get it done. Like I said, he's just rookie last year, he's got experience and he's on the defending champion team, the race line for Ellie Suzuki. So that's us here from Conondale on the Saturday. Remember to check out motoonline.com.au all weekend long for all the updates. Plus remember to check out our Twitter and Facebook because we're pretty much running hot on them all weekend and long. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.